Hi, and welcome to this section that we are going to add fragments to activities and handling its life cycle. While fragments are reusable and modular, each instance of a fragment class must be associated with a parent activity. In this video, we are going to explore and learn how to handle fragment lifecycle. The more you understand a fragment's lifecycle, the better you'd be able to use each event. To build a multi-pane UI, you can use multiple fragments in a single activity, or in some cases, you can reuse a fragment in multiple activities. An activity has too many duties, so many things to manage, but imagine that they hire an assistant to help them and that assistant comes up to be Fragment. We will talk about the coordination of activity and fragment lifecycle in next video, but for now, let's dive deeper in fragments lifecycle. Fragments have their own unique lifecycle events just like any activity. By overriding those methods, you will be able to use them. I also added a log inside each of events, so if you like to trace your app, it would be easy. All you need to do is run your app on an emulator. Inside Logcat tab, choose your package name, and on this search tab, use the tag name. I created it myself, so you can change it to whatever you want. Here you can see how it is traced, and also you can see all the new events happening. As you see, everything is clear and pretty traceable. Everything starts when you add a fragment. On attach. This is where a fragment object is attached to its container activity. On create. After attach, it's time to create and initialize. The system calls this when creating the fragment. You should initialize essential components of the fragment that you want to retain when the fragment is paused or stopped, then resumed. On Create View, to create and initialize all layout files. We want the fragment to draw its user interface for the first time. If your fragment will draw a UI, you will return a view, and if your fragment won't provide a UI, you will return null. On Activity Created. When the fragment's activity has finished its own onCreate event. On Start, this is where the fragment is finally visible. On Resume, when the fragment is visible and interactive. The app stays in this state until something happens to take focus away. Such an event might be, for instance, receiving a phone call, the user's navigation to another activity, or the device screen's turning off. What happens next? The fragment isn't done. On pause, when the fragment is no longer interactable. This occurs when either the fragment is about to remove or replace, or when the fragment's activity pauses, something like when another activity is in foreground and has focus, but the activity in which our fragment lives is still visible. Maybe the foreground activity is partially transparent or doesn't cover the entire screen. Though it doesn't always mean that the fragment is going to be destroyed, but you should commit changes since you can't make sure what happens next. On Stop. When the fragment is no longer visible, this occurs either after the fragment is about to be removed or replaced, or when the fragment activity stops. On Destroy View. When the view and related resources created in onCreate View are removed and destroyed. On Destroy. When the fragment does its final cleanups. On-detach. When the fragment is detached from its activity, and any memory that our fragment was using goes to garbage collection. Usually, you should implement at least the following lifecycle methods. onCreate, onCreate view, and onPause. We will discuss more about differences between an activity and a fragment lifecycle.